Go ahead and get rolling from there then. Awesome. All right, folks. We're doing our first video. I love it. I got a new Nikon. I got the D3200. Set it up on an ultra wide angle lens. Gave Chris a call. Said, buddy, we're gonna do our first video today. He sent me some great pictures. I mean, really nice snooks. Some really nice photos. I mean, big snooks. So it was pretty sweet, man. How you been making out there? I haven't gone fishing. I've been busy. I know you did a little bit, so I saw the photos.
Somebody's got to babysit paradise, folks. Yeah, it's been real good out there. We probably tore them up a little bit heavy this week, so.
I saw the pictures. Matter of fact, we posted. It was a video we did probably about must have been about a month ago about Daniel's Deceivers. And had some nice pictures and everything. Bill Daniels is telling us about a huge snook that he caught, and we said when we had the pictures that we post them, and oh boy, we got the pictures. I mean, it was the one that Bill posted with I think it was Richie was huge, and then Chris went out there last week with this plug that he got from Daniels and got a monster.
Yeah, this plug right here is, if you remember my first show with the Cobia that blew it up, took it away. This is my lure right here. Came back to me. But this lure right here was producing probably better than we've been producing on anything. They were coming up and just slamming it, so. It
was beautiful. I mean, we were playing on topwater a couple of weeks ago, and he did good on it then. And like I said, I saw the pictures. And I'll tell you what, one thing I like about it, most baits like this, when you look at that little dot behind the actual eye, and it looks like a second eye that's right over that middle hook, or really the front hook on this, something about that fish just go nuts and hit it right on that hook. And
they go nuts on this lure, guys. I'm telling you right now. Even today, I was out with my best bud out there today fishing for his birthday, and it was terrible fishing. But they were still blowing that lure to the roof. Even just mad at it, they were hitting it hard.
Well, I tell you what, it's the 1006 Daniel's Deceiver, and something I thought that was unique about it when I first saw it and I messed with it is when you touch the lure, a lot of them are very, very shiny and smooth down the side. Now this, you could actually feel the glitter that sticks out of the coating, which really makes a difference. I mean, honestly, when I first saw it, I thought, well, when I first saw it, I thought, well, maybe they didn't coat it right. Well, this is exactly what Bill Daniels wanted. And like you said, it sticks out like scales, and that protrusion really creates a cool glitter in the water because it gives them like a three-dimensional flash through the water. Very cool. I mean, that's an awesome lure. Great idea, great design.
He's got a good thing going on. As soon as he gets him out there marketed to the world, everybody else will figure that out. So.
Well, I tell you what, too. Now we're going to start carrying lures on our website. So I've started contacting some guys, Daniel's Deceivers. I'm going to go out and meet Bill. Me and Chris are going to head out there this week and make arrangements to get a couple of his baits to sell on our website. What we're going to do is I'm going to get together with Chris over the next few weeks. We've got Mark Kursak. He's out on Cocoa Beach. We've got Scott Larson, he's up there in Pasco County. We're going to start fishing baits, specific baits, with specific lures to try to catch certain fish and get it on video. So when you come to our website and say you want to purchase one of these, one of these nice Daniel's Deceivers baits, you could actually see a video of Chris, how to work it, Chris working the bait, Chris catching big snook with it, reeling them up on video, and be able to buy the bait right there from our website and have it shipped right to your house. So it's a great opportunity to really get your bait out there. If you're a bait designer, if you're an engineer, let us know. People like Daniel's Deceivers, man, these guys have great baits, but they're, a lot of people don't know about them because they're not on the shelf at Walmart and a couple of the bait shops, and so they're missing out.
The only thing that's on the shelf at Walmart is something that Walmart can make money at. So.
Well, the day of the Chinese lures is going bye-bye. I mean, there was a time when, you could buy them cheap and some of them weren't. So, it's gotten to the point where we have good engineers, good designers here in Florida that are making nice lures. I mean, look at this one here. This sucker here is what they call that monster.
Glass minnow.
Look at that thing. I mean, now when I saw it, I went, wow, that's a big, heavy wooden lure, and it is, and
it's
it catches.
It's fun, though, guys. It's so easy to fish, so you just throw it out and give it a bust.
Well, I tell you what, after we get done talking about it, I think I'll get Chris to take us out to his freshwater lake back here and, throw a couple of baits to show you how these work. And this sucker comes through the water like a torpedo. I mean, it is a loud bait.
If you guys are familiar with a devil's horse, a topwater prop bait, it's what it does. It throws water. It's very noisy. It looks like a fish that is trying to thrust and get away. if I was a fish in the area, I would definitely think that something's trying to get away from me, and I'd have to go investigate it. And that's what these fish are doing. They're investigating this. And if the fish comes up on it's big enough to investigate it and thump it, game on.
I'm telling you. I mean, and I saw Chris working it. We went out to, like I said, about 2 weeks ago. And it is a loud bait. I mean, it hits the water nice, and then it shoots through like a needlefish going crazy on the top of the water.
Looks like a mullet thrusting. To tell you the truth. I mean, if I had to guess what it looked like, I'd say a mullet like thrusting away from a fish, or how mullet get all happy and do that happy dance. Mm-hmm. Do the happy dance.
But you know, you want to see pictures of this, you know, the actual snook that this lure caught. This one in particular, not one like it. This one. You can go to fishyfins.com, check out Chris's video on the left side of the page. You can click on Chris's link, and we got some great video and his shows of him using Daniel's Deceivers. Great bait, really love it. But that's not the only ones in his arsenal. He's got a few more, but these are the ones that were catching those big snook we posted. And like I said, you know, the proof's in the pudding. It's all bullshit till we see it. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Daniels, we saw it. That is a beautiful snook, baby. 30 plus pounds, 40 something inches, and actually that's the one he caught a big one on too.
Yeah, almost definitely. That's one of Chris's favorites right there.
That's a super fat chubby.
Yeah, I don't know what they call this bait on Mr. Bill Daniels calls it, but I call it Explosion.
Well, he's got it underneath. What is that number on that one?
Oh, let's see here. This number is a 202T. 202T.
202T. Beautiful bait, big fat shad. And he does nice with the glitter too.
I don't think that Bill makes this exact model anymore. This is one of his older models. He makes ones a little bit different from this one, but pretty much the same action that you're going to get when you get any of these. He's just made the plug a little bit longer, you know, a little more easier to throw, I think. So.
Well, they're nice. You know, I like to play with wood baits. You know, all of them. I mean, Daniel's Deceivers. We actually have quite a few on the site that we work with. And we've got some stuff from Banks Lures, we got some stuff from Impact Lures, and there's something about a wood bait, and that's why I'm really down on a lot of these imports that you see at Wally World and the discount shops, and this is true. If you're using a plastic bait or a poly bait or something that's mass produced, you know, some odd thousand an hour coming off a line, when a big fish hits it, it's going to knock it out of the water.
Yeah, it's a throw in, knocks it off track.
Off track, out of the water, and once it does it, it's going to get knotted up in your leader, so you're going to lose the damn fish anyway.
Fouls instantly.
It's done. And you know, the truth is, you know, a nice big fish hits a nice wooden heavy lure, it's going to grab it, it's going to sink into its bill, and you're going to have a nice fish.
Oh, it's a good fight too. It definitely, it's a quality bait, you know. Let's just put it this way, at 3 trips last week, we went out. I threw that thing no less than probably half the time I was out on my trips, and just loaded the boat. I had over 35 snook this week alone, personally, that I landed on the boat.
Beautiful, beautiful. There you go.
Now, I'm not talking about the people that were in the back enjoying the ride and watching the show. Because they were having a good time too, you know.
And I'm going to tell you something, you know, I've gone out with Chris a lot of times. He loves to tell you about his fishing, but it's true. I mean, the man catches big fish out there. You're on the West Wall, weren't you, this week?
I tried some West Wall this week because my thought process is now these fish are heading out to the passes, and they're going on out to, you know, do their breeding and stuff. So I got on the West Wall, and one thing I did notice was 2x2. Looked like they were heading to Noah's Ark. They were heading out. I mean, you'd see 2 big snook, and they would be cruising, and they would be nosing down the West Wall, going down toward the beaches. And the next thing you'd see a couple more snook, and everybody was cruising toward the point. So my suggestion is somewhere between Boca Grande Pass and where you like to fish, there's going to be fish moving.
You know, it's hot right now, that whole area, you know, Turtle Bay, Bull Bay, you know, going around Placida up to Boca Grande. Yeah, a lot of traffic. You know, the tarpon guys are going crazy out there because there's tarpon everywhere.
My tarpon boys are tired. They're running 2 trips a day, and they're hooking up 6-7 times on trips. If you guys want to get down here and get into the thrill of your life, get down here with some of these captains and enjoy one heck of a day out there tarpon fishing. You'll never forget it.
They're on them. I mean, you know, these guys are catching tarpon, they're catching bull sharks, they're catching, you know, they're catching everything out there. And I've even seen some beautiful kingfish. If you like playing offshore right now, you get out there. Generally, when they get out to about 100 feet to 140 foot of depth, and you know, you got to get out there about 20 miles or so. They're just huge kingfish running. Now, you don't have to get out there. These guys over off the beach, I know Ken over at Westfall, you know, he fishes up and down the beaches on his kayak. If it's too windy, he just fishes the beach line, catch a nice snook, to get nice tarpon. He had a nice little tarpon he picked up too, really cool, doing some surf fishing. So, you know, there's just fish all over the place out there, you know. Chris plays it on the Westfall. He really catches some big fish along there, and just can't miss right now, you know.
Well, you know, I play in my area because we live in paradise. Why drive, you know, 40 miles to go fishing when 5-10 miles on my back door I can load the boat? I mean, when you live in paradise, you get to fish wherever you want to. I mean, really, you don't have to have a lot of drive time. You don't have to have a lot of boating time. You just got to get out there and do it.
Well, that's a great part about Southwest Florida. We have ramps every place. So, you know, right now, Chris has a ramp right over here by El Jabin. So, yeah, just before TNT Bait and Tackle. And actually, if you're out there, go and see them. Tim and Tanya, TNT Bait and Tackle, the foot of the El Jabin Bridge. Phew, I got it all out. Great bait. Get there early. Got to get, and I don't care what bait store you're going to now. If you don't get there early, you ain't going to get no bait. So people are busy. The captains are buying them up. So, you know, get there early, get some bait. But Chris has got a nice ramp right over there at the marina, just on the left on the way out toward the bridge on El Jabin.
Public ramp.
Public ramp there?
Yeah, public ramp.
We're what, maybe about 5-10 minutes, not even from the Myakka cutoff from there? And
once I launch the boat, I'm 10 minutes, I'm in my hole.
There it is.
10 minutes, I'm sitting on my fish
and big fish. I mean, we're not
fishing
big fish.
Just like we did this morning. We sat down and he goes, "What are we gonna do?" And I went, "Cast, cast, boom!" That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna catch fish.
I'm gonna tell you something. And I went out and bought some, and I found out Chris's trick and why he always gets the electric chicken baits, and I can never find them. But I'm not telling you. But I found out his trick, so I went out and bought 2 bags of them. Check these out. I'm gonna grab this pole, bud.
Yeah, grab it.
Check this out. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to give it to you so
That's
don't break your $200 pole.
That's it.
I'm usually not allowed to touch the fishing pole, so look at that. There it is, electric chicken. He went out there, we were out there, and I'm fishing an electric chicken made by, I don't know, Joe Schmo Baits, and he had this Strike King electric chicken.
Gotta be Strike King,
and
folks.
I'm going right next to him, I'm fishing, I'm throwing right next to yours, right?
Yeah.
Right next to his bait, right? Boom. And he's kept 1 snook, then he caught 2 snook. And I, you know what? He looks at me and goes, "You know, Frank, you really need to change and put one of these on." And I did. And I mean, bam, first cast. What did I catch? Big redfish.
First cast, exactly.
First cast.
Hey, when you want to prove something, it's got to come through right on the first cast.
I'm telling you, we actually got the video of it too, so we were, you know, jamming. So, you know, you really can't beat those. They're a great bait. Chris uses them all over the Westfall.
Very versatile. You can throw it anywhere. You know, it's my nose down, let's go to work bait.
Oh yeah.
I put my nose down with that thing. I tell Mama I'm bringing home some fish because we're eating some fish tonight. Strike King comes out.
Puts food on the table.
I'm out there just having fun and having a blast. That Daniel's Deceiver is on it all the time because you know what? There's nothing like a big explosion.
Yep. Well, we did it. You know, we're going around to well, Chris knows all the hot spots, so he takes me back there along the West Wall or the Myakka cutoff, that whole Hog Island area. And, you know, we're fishing, you know, the electric chicken, doing great. Now, Chris had, at the time of Daniel's Deceiver, had an impact lure on mine. And as soon as we see something jumping on the top, turn right around, cast on it, boom. You know, and then immediately, though, right after the top water hit, right back to the electric chicken and back to the jigging.
Yeah, there you go.
And big fish.
Gotta stay with what works, you know.
But we're gonna grab that Daniel's Deceiver bait, I think, and take a walk over to the freshwater lake and just check out the action. I bet you catch something on it and see how it works. What are you gonna bring, the fatty, or are you gonna bring the long guy?
You know what? I think we're gonna get this one. Which one do you want to do? You want to do the long guy?
Well, the fat shad probably have a little bit of fun.
The fat shad will give him a nice.
Probably grab a bass out of there, I bet.
Well, we'll see. They have a lot of bass over there hungry.
So tell me more about the West Wall before we pack up the head.
Yeah, let's generate. The West Wall has a good concentration of fish on it, and not only does it have the snook that we like to go harass once you're out there, but we also have flounder that are very abundant on that wall. And I'm telling you right now, flounder is a great eating species. Every probably 20-30 yards, you run into schools of trout that are blowing up bait. You got jacks that are one after another, bluefish one after another. You know, I mean, it's just the West Wall is definitely turned on, and that's just because I fish there. I'm talking to my boys on the east side, my Punta Gorda brothers, and they are flat out tearing the East Wall up right now.
Yeah.
And that's where the bait went to. The bait all switched over there, and they're just tearing it up over there. They said that the same thing. The snook are going out in the lines.
I'll tell you what, I grew up out in Pirate Harbor. The fish out there on the east side of Charlotte Harbor are just, they've always been abundant. It's nice because you have the keys in there. You have the harbor keys. And, you got, with the kayak guys, I think, just go nuts up in there. They can get in those keys and catch huge fish up in, really thin water. You're talking about 6 inches, a foot of water. And the reds, some of the reds that get up in there looking for crabs and that are breeding, they're so big that the top of the red is actually out of the water as it's kind of maneuvering around those flats. So those harbor keys are sweet. I mean, like Chris said, whether you're trying to catch trout or mackerel or something along the shoals, or whether you want to get up to the mangroves and get into some of those really big snook, really big redfish up in there, really big.
Talking about really big redfish this week, we were going
I got the wrong map.
we were going, listen, we were going along, and I would say we were close to halfway point, maybe a little bit further than halfway point, and I spotted a red that was as big around as a 5-gallon bucket, and it was probably 40 inches long. This thing was massive, and I looked at it because you could see it right through the water, very clear, and I'm watching it go right in front of the boat, and I'm like, do I drop my lure in front of it? That is big. And so then I tossed it out in front of it and tried to, hoping it was just going to pick it up on the run by, and it went right over top of it, never did touch it, but it was huge.
I'll tell you, there are big ones. You know what? One of the biggest reds I've seen so far this year, I think, in Facebook was Tom Fisher. He got a monster. Of course, he ain't going to tell you where he caught it.
If there's a lot of water around the picture, we know where he caught it.
Well, there's a big red. You see a lot of these big gigantic hogs over there on the other coast. You get into Brevard County and the Mosquito Lagoon. I mean, the Atlantic. There's just monsters.
They
out
have the monsters on their side.
But when you get one like Tom pulled up there about 3 weeks ago, he had one. I mean, that sucker was just as big as anything I've seen coming out of the water over on the East Coast. And he wouldn't give up where it was, but I know Tom likes to play around Turtle Bay in that area. So let's be honest. You get up there under the mangroves, any place around Charlotte Harbor, and you're going to find big reds right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. And the mangroves are a great thing because especially when the sun's out and it's hot. But I'm finding these reds are probably about 15 to 20 feet off of the mangroves in a thing we call the trough. And they're running out along this trough looking for the baits. When the water's moving, look for those reds out in the trough. When the water slows down, they're going to go back to those bushes and they're going to look for crabs and stuff milling around when the water's not moving so fast. And then when the water starts moving, they're going to get back out in that trough, the feeding zone,
Makes sense.
Out on the flats. I mean, we were casting just straight out onto the flats and picking up fish just one after another. I mean, it didn't matter. We could have the nice little shots up against the mangroves, which to me I prefer. I'm a grown and born and bred bass boy, so I like to throw the lures. So casting out onto a flat, there's no contest.
Sure.
It's just throw it as far as you can.
It's all about distance and coverage, man, on the flats.
Distance.
Well, I tell you what, when there's overcast like today and the next few days, the flats are tough to fish during the day, only I think because there's not enough coverage, not enough shade, fish can't hide. Now you get a cloudy day like this where you have a good overcast, you have a lot of shade created by the clouds moving, a lot easier for a fish to camouflage itself just in the cloud cover. So I heard a lot of people on Facebook the past few days, it's overcast, where are the reds?
Potholes,
find
guys.
Holes in the flats, and there
they
they
like
are.
to sit on the grass and then sit right with their nose toward the potholes. That's why they always say fish the potholes. Because the fish can see across that white sand. Anything that moves across that white sand, they can see it. So it's easy for them to identify, and they pound it.
Well, I tell you what, when we were out on the cutoff, like you were mentioning, the trough area, and this is true, Chris is telling me, and I'm fishing up by the bank, trying to get underneath the mangroves. Excuse me, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and Chris is like, bud, if you want to catch any, you'll catch a lot of small juvies up there, a lot of little snook, but if you want to get the big ones this time of day, you got to get about 20 yards or so off of those mangroves because they're really out in the deeper trough now. And about the time he got trough out, he gets this huge snook out there, you know, right where he said monster snook. And you know, again, that heat of the day, it was out there in a hole, like I said, about probably 10. All right. Like I said, we're back out here with Chris at his little freshwater lake. Look at that plug work.
Can you get some distance out of this thing?
Oh yeah. That sucker sure makes some noise too. Nice action.
Now you can go like this. That's sort of the way Daddy works it. Now, this is sort of the way I've seen it work when it's working somewhat good. Let that ring go out like that.
Uh-huh.
So it looks injured.
Oh yeah.
See how it looks like it's sort of...
Just does a dart and wait, dart and wait.
Sort of like, it's sort of lisping to one side, see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when it does that, it makes them nasty. But you know, I mean, it's an easy to cast plug. You're not gonna let that ring get out and then just.
That will definitely get some snook hitting, boy.
They like that. I don't know what it is about that noise, but they really like it.
There it is. There it is.
Look at this, folks.
See that? Look at that bass. Nice bass. Woo! God damn, son. Great timing. Damn. Look at that bass.
Look at this.
Holy jeez, that's a monster. Holy shit. Look at the size of that thing. How did you do this? How do you do this? God damn. Look at that bass. Look at it.
Is that crazy?
Damn, son.
Is that crazy?
There it is, folks. That might be that's a big bass.
That's about 10 pounds.
There it is, boys. That's a good, what is it? You think that's a 10-pounder?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Daniel's Deceiver. Dog.
God. That is so crazy.
Sweet.
That is so crazy, Frank.
Look at that.
Big bass. Oh, man.
Wow.
Come on, baby.
Look at the mouth on that.
Oh, my gosh. You want big fish, folks? You got to throw a big lure. And I'm going to tell you what. I don't think there's one lure that'll beat a Daniel's Deceivers right now. And today, I am so sold on this lure.
Oh, you just sold me.
I am so sold on this lure. If you want to talk about big fish in Florida, folks, this is just over home in a little tiny canal.
Yeah, go ahead and stand up. Let me get a picture of you with that. There it is. Chris Taylor, Daniel's Deceivers. Look at that bass. Beautiful, baby. Beautiful work.
Don't go home without a Daniel's Deceiver.
And be free. Awesome.
Is that crazy or what?
There it is, boys. There it is. That was a big, see, big bait, big bass.
Did I call it or what?
Damn, son.
I'm telling you.
Now he's never going to put that pole down now. Forget about it.
Oh, we're having some fun now. Frankie wants the pole, folks. Frankie wants the pole. Is that crazy, though, to have a bait?
As soon as it hit the water, boom.
Boom, it went boom, and it went
Incredible.
That was
Now you tell me you can't stage that, folks. I don't want to hear about pictures. I want to see video. Now, there ain't no stage in there.
To walk over to the canal. Now, let's go get the boat.
Let's go get the boat. There he is. And I don't want to miss a hit. I'm going to face this way.
Let's go fishing, folks.
Incredible.
Come on. That's it. I got to load the boat up. Guys, we got to go. Fishing show over.
Incredible. We'll be right back. There it was, folks. Chris caught a gigantic bass. And now to thank the lake, he's going to feed all the babies to get them big and fat. And
that's right. Feed
so
the
they
bait so the big ones stay around. This is probably about what, 100 yards down the canal where my dock is over here.
Yeah, yeah. Nice overcast day. See all the clouds, folks. Top water. Chris throws that Daniels deceiver out. See all the mess. Nice messy lake. The way you really fish love to see that mess. Stuff all over the top. Now everybody gets to eat.
That's it. Daddy feeds the crew.
Now you know why we call him Coach Christopher Taylor. He'll teach you how to catch some fish.
Teach you up. Hey, some people will call it luck, and I call it just putting the lure out there and having. Lucky you have the right lures. That's what the luck's about.
I'm telling you.
If you're lucky to have the right lures tied on when you go fishing, and you're lucky to be with the right person.
Well, you saw it. You know, the way that bait worked. I mean, Chris gave it a couple of jerks. It looked beautiful in the water. You know, he even said, look how it's kind of darting off, and it jerks off to the side, and boom, one jerk to the side.
We upset that fish, okay?
Pissed him off.
We pissed him off. We cast it over his head about 3 or 4 times, and he wanted to know where that thing was at. When I finally casted it down there, he went right to it and just tore it to pieces. He's like, what is this noise maker in my home?
Hit that range of coverage he was looking for. Bam.
See ya.
Perfect. Beautiful fish, bud. Beautiful. All right, folks. Well, we're going to let these guys have their din-din. And, well, that's what we wanted to show you. That's what we're going to start doing. We're going to be doing these videos. We're going to be working baits like you saw Coach Chris doing there. And if you like that bait, you like the way it just caught a gigantic bass, you want it, you just click on buy this bait from our website. It'll be in your hands in about 2 days in the US mail. So we're going to make it work. We're going to get guys like Chris to show you how to work those baits and catch big fish and put the bait in your hand. So stay tuned, and we'll be back soon. Hey, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.